Alright, good afternoon everybody, for those who are watching and for those who will be watching later. So we are going to be flying two shorter flights today from Brussels. As you can see, the weather is really amazing in Brussels. So we are flying from Brussels first to Basel, the airport of Basel, Freiburg, Mulhouse, which is on the triple border of France, Germany and Switzerland. And then from there we will continue to Corsica, and on Corsica to Bastia Poretta. That's the plan. And today we are flying with the Cessna CJ4 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And hi Hank, I'm happy that you are there. And we are going to be using the modded version of the Cessna CJ4, which is the mod by working title, which makes the Cessna much more realistic, with more systems working and things happening like they should be happening. Okay, there is some clear in the sky in Brussels, but otherwise it's very, very cloudy and rainy. I'm going to follow the checklist that's in front of me. You can download it also with the working title mod, and when we turn on the screens, then you will see that we can also put the checklist onto the screens, which is quite a nice feature. And so far, so we are logged into the IVAO network, but so far there is no ATC in Belgium. Also there is no ATC above France or Luxembourg where we were flying. But there is tower just came online in Basel. So maybe on final we will have somebody to talk to. And then later on we will see. There is so far no other ATC, unfortunately. Let's hope that will change. It's a bit still early for people to be online. And hi Mark, hello to you too, and welcome to the stream. So it's unfortunately maybe a bit too early for all the ATC to be online, but we will see. Alright, we will assume now, so we are in the General Aviation Apron in Brussels. I will assume that there is no ground power available for us, even though there is probably a mobile ground power unit. So we'll first start one of the engines to provide enough electricity for our avionics and everything to go fully on. Otherwise you could also simulate having a GPU and then only do the engine start where everything else is already set up. So the first things is a battery switch is going on. Few errors will probably come on first. So when you turn on the batteries, only one of the screens, the MFD, is powered. Then we put the emergency lights to an arm position and the standby flight display to on. And the avionics switch go to down, it's a dispatch position. So the avionics switch has three positions: dispatch, an off, and an on. And before we start the engines, they should go to the dispatch position. And then you get some errors, they can be dismissed. And one thing we can do already at the FMC is initialize our position. And then you can just select the GPS position as our set position, and then the position is initialized, so that's alright. And so a nice feature here, which I will explain. Maybe we can do it quickly still before starting the engines, because now we are running from battery power, so we cannot stay in this mode for long. So we are running from batteries because there is no power from the generators. And I'm going to put this away. System. Okay, it's done. And we can actually also put here the checklists we want, but there is also a button for that here. So we can go on normal checklists, and then we can do before starting engines. The battery switch is on, emergency light switches are armed. We can also make them green. Standby avionics are on. Avionics switch is dispatch. Parking brake is set. We can see it here. Parking brake is set. The wheel chocks are removed. It's not modeled, but they are removed, and the cabin doors are closed. And that's gonna be before starting engines, but we'll wait for that a bit further. Okay. And here in the flight computer, we can go to the next page, page 2, and then route menu. And then here we can actually get the route from SimBrief. So I already made a route in SimBrief. We can have a quick look. Where is my window? Here is the window. Here is my SimBrief document. And there is our routing. It's Rossi to Golf Tango Quebec, then Arpus, and then to Basel. And then I can just load this in with the press of a button, loading flight plan. And then if there is a question, because you have the waypoints with the same name twice, then you always just choose the closest one, and that's always on the top, but you can check the coordinates, and then I know that it's indeed the one that we need. And then the flight plan is loaded, and then you have to say execute. And then the flight plan is loaded. Then here at the bottom, with the lower menu, you can also select the plan option, and then you can see your flight plan. You can also zoom, not yet. When we turn on the avionics, you will also be able to zoom, but you can come here to the display, to the MFD Advance, and you can keep pressing next waypoint, and you can scroll through the whole flight plan and check if it's correct. Okay, so this is all correct, because we will still have to set our approach and departure, so the start and SIDS. But we'll first start an engine, so we are not using up all our electricity. This goes back to departure arrival, because we will continue here. The climate control selector needs to be off. There is not much of passenger briefing we need to do right now, so we'll say it's complete. Seat belts, pedals, and all adjusted and secure. Exterior lights, we put the strobe lights on, the beacon lights on. The beacon lights go on, that's the red light here on the top, to tell the ground crew that we are about to start at least an engine. There is no message on the ACAS. We can have a quick look. Well, the messages there are normal at this point, so that's fine. Back to the checklist. The FMS is checked and set now. Climate control selector here is off, so that's okay. Checklist complete. Then we'll start the engines. The throttles are the lowest position, so that's idle, that's good. And then how you start the engines is very straightforward. You just set the engine starter, then you open this up and set run. And then you can monitor the engine status here on the top. N2 rises first, then the ITT will start rising, and N1 is also rising. So that's what we are monitoring. I don't think that any failures here are modeled, so this will normally work out fine. So N2, the ignition in the meantime we have not looked, but ignition, the starter has gone on. That's why N1 is rising now, ITT is rising. That's all correct. And then we will start the opposite engine later, so I'm just going to close this. But we'll wait till this engine is fully on, which will take a few seconds. I hope the volume and everything is fine for the stream, so if not, just say it in the chat. And of course, after takeoff we will have more time, so if you have any questions or if you would like to talk about something, you can also just say that. Okay, so the left engine is stabilized at a nominal power and everything looks good. So now we can already we close the charts, close the checklist, and now we have electric power from the left generator. You can see the voltage is up here, so we can also turn on the avionics properly. And also nice feature that you can change the brightness of all the displays down here. You can also put on the background lights, but you don't need that now during the day. And just a bit lower with the brightness, maybe on the left. Also you can do the same change of brightness here with the bright and dim buttons on the flight computer. What we will still put on is the logo lights and the navigation lights on the ground. So the nav lights are the red and green and the white light in the back, and the logo lights are just on the tail. It's a bit bright still outside. Thanks for the feedback on the sound, that it's good. Thanks guys. And now what we need to do next is, so the avionics are on, the climate control selector can already go to normal lighting with single engine. and I'm just putting down the fan so it's not making that much noise. And the passenger light safety we can put on, so the seatbelt sign is safety.
May I have your attention, please?
And that's a nice feature.
At this time, please comply with the illuminated seatbelt and no smoking signs. Thank you.
Alright, so that's also one of the features in this mod, that there is the real sounds of these safety calls and passenger briefings and so on and so on. You will see it also later in the flight. The next thing we have to do is, but maybe I will put back the checklist. So the engines will start the opposite engine later. Electrical systems are checked. Avionics switch is already on. Climate control sector is normal. Passenger light safety button is on. Then we have to set the trims. So here on the top you can see the trims. They have to be in the green. Now everything is in the green, so trims are set. Then we have to check the flight controls, and to check the flight controls I'm just going to display the yokes. There is also a yoke here. So full left, full right, aft and forward, everything is good. And let's see the rudder, also full and free, so the flight controls are checked. I'm going to leave this on. Flight controls are checked. Speed brakes, ground spoilers are fully retracted, so that's good. And flaps we will put to the takeoff position. You can see here flaps, there is a flaps 15 and flap 35, and flap 15 is the takeoff position, so flaps are set. The pressure is okay. Engine only anti-ice if required. We will probably need anti-ice because it's not very warm and there is quite a lot of humidity in the air. But it's not yet necessary, so we will only do that before takeoff, and then we will have to set the takeoff data. Quick check again if there is still no ATC online in Brussels. There is still no ATC online, unfortunately, and I see Hank is also flying with us now on the map, so that's great. And Hank is flying with a Boeing 737-800, nice. Okay, let's go back to the plan. And then the next thing we have to do, trims are set, flight controls are free and correct. The departure data. Okay, for the departure data, I have not yet checked what departure we will have, because I was hoping there would be ATC, but there isn't. But the things you can do is, first of all, check the weather, and that's in the data link menu, weather, and then you can make a weather request, and then it's Brussels, Echo, Bravo, Bravo, Romeo, and then we can also already give in our destination, which is destination is Lima Foxtrot, Sierra Bravo, and then you can hit send, and then you receive a weather report, which is basically a METAR, and I've set in the settings that the METAR comes from the sim. And then you can view that here, and then we can note down these details because we'll need them. So there is a wind of 250 degrees, 13 knots, which is perfectly fine for runway 25 right. There is showers scattered at 1,700 feet and broken at 2,800 feet. It's 10 degrees Celsius. The dew point of 8 and QNH is 1007. And no significant weather. That's a bit weird because it's raining, but there is no thunderstorm, so it's fine. Okay, so that's how you can check the weather. And then if there was ATIS, you could also request that somehow here in the ATIS, but there is no ATIS, so we cannot check that. Because if I say send, then there is no ATIS available. So normally if there would be ATIS available on IVAO, that would be great. So Hank is saying the Rousey 8 Charlie departure. I'm going to check that. Another nice feature that you can put on maps here. And then you can set, so normally if you already fill in your departure arrival information, these maps automatically populate themselves, so it chooses the right one. So you need a Navigraph subscription for this. But otherwise we can go here to Echo Bravo. So Brussels departure and a long press should be able to select map, yes. And then it's the Rousey, oops, Rousey, oh there is a lot of charts. So Rousey 8 Charlie for charts, Rousey 8 Charlie, 8 Charlie, and then let's turn the brightness a bit down because we cannot read the map. And then to be used by single 2 and 3 engine aircraft, so that's fine. 25 right, that's fine, and available between 6 and 23 local time. So this is a good departure indeed. Thanks Hank. We can take this departure. Okay, then we go to departure arrival. 25 right is already selected, and then we take the Rousey 8 Charlie, right? Rousey 8 Charlie, 8 Charlie, and we say execute. And then something you need to still do is in the legs. There might be some discontinuities here. So for example, Rousey is twice here. Then you can just delete one of them because it's not necessary. And then it's good, and then you can go check further. It's alright. We don't know our arrival yet. I will fill that out when we are already in the air. It's not important for now. So the next departure arrival is set. Then what we were still going to set was the performance. And performance initialization. Here you can see that we have a zero fuel weight of 4894 kilograms. And you can just set that in 4894 to the zero fuel weight instead of filling in passenger or cargo. And then there is a sensed fuel of 1142, and that's 1139 required, so we are perfectly good with the fuel. Then we go to next page, and then we go to the takeoff. And then we give the winds, which was clear, which was 250 with 13 knots. 13 knots. The temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Beautiful late May afternoon. Jesus. And the QNH is 1007. 1007. We get the pressure altitude is 358 feet. There is no slope for the runway. There you have headwind of 12 knots and a right crosswind of 1 knot. Available runway length based on the data in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which might not be exactly the same as on the AAP charts. It's 3,600 meters. Wet runway, you can select wet runway, then you go next page. We will use flaps 15, and then the required takeoff run is only 590 meters, so that's perfect. These are the V speeds, V1, rotation V2, and then the target speed afterwards. And we can just send this, and then you can see these V speeds are populated on the BFD. Perfect. So this is complete. Any other performance we need to do, we can still come to the VNAV setup. I don't think this is modeled, but here at least as a note for yourself, you can put a transition altitude, and the transition altitude is 4,500 feet. So this information is not used anywhere in the BFD, but as a reminder, it's always useful to know. Okay. Let's close these charts for a second. And that's done. And we are already till the takeoff in the checklist, so I'm going to close that. Then all the performances are set, departure is set, legs is set, flight plan is completed. So I think we are done with everything here. One thing we'll not forget is to turn on our TCAS when we need it. We are already set at 2000 squawk because there is no ATC, but we are IFR, so that's default 2000. So quick check again for ATC, still no ATC. It's a misfortune. And now you can also zoom on the map that the full avionics are on. Okay, now we can also start our second engine, because at this point we basically would request taxi almost. So the engine 2 is started, that's a normal message. And while engine 2 is starting, I'm going to see where we will have to continue. Engine anti-ice is not yet required, takeoff data is set, avionics are set, except for QNH is 1007, 1007, 1007. Okay, QNH is 1007. The start is looking good. We'll wait till everything stabilizes. And also our cruise altitude is going to be flight level 410. We can already turn that in because there is no ATC, so there is no initial climb clearance. We can go to the final climb. 410, the engine is all good. Okay. Is there any altitude restriction? No altitude restriction, only that we have to cross that above 6000. That's in the flight computer, so that's good. Otherwise, no speed restriction. Except for the 250 under 10,000, but we'll climb with 240, so that's okay. And we start the turn at 1700, but that's also in the flight computer, so that's fine. Okay. As a reminder, we can also turn that the initial heading is 244. The other direction goes faster, 244. Okay, so everything is prepared here. Then we are basically ready for taxi. Last check, an autopilot on, autopilot off, low damper off, so that works, that's good. And then when you do this, then the trim always goes a bit away, so trim back. Altimeter is set, pressurization is set, IACAS is checked, there is no messages right on the chart, no messages. Aft doors are latched closed. Okay, then we'll put up for the chart the map of the airport, just that we find our way, and it's nice because everything is geo-referenced so we can see our position. And 25 right is the runway we'll take. Can I zoom in a bit more? Yes, perfect. 25 right, 244 degrees set. And then we will basically just take Bravo 5 because we don't need the whole thing. So let's make a message here at Unicom that we will taxi to runway 25 right, and then we will use taxiways Romeo 2 Juliet in the outer Romeo 2 Juliet, outer 3, outer 4, outers, and Bravo 5, hold short Bravo 5. So taxiing to holding point Bravo 5, runway 25 right, we are taxiing Romeo 2 Juliet outers. Okay, we sent that. That's now there, and then we can start the taxi, and we start taxiing by putting the taxi lights on, releasing the parking brake, and then adding a bit of power. We started moving, brake check, brakes are available, and then we can taxi further. This is a scenery from JustSim for Brussels. It's more or less the same as it was in X-Plane, to be honest. There's supposed to be a new scenery coming out from Aerosoft, which is supposed to be much nicer. Question how it's going to be on the frame rates. We will see, probably if it comes out I will get it. Because still it's Brussels, so it's the main airport I will be flying from. except if they would make Charleroi, but I don't think that's going to happen very soon. So, but for now it's quite nice. Okay. Not to taxi too fast. By the way, I simulated that we have 2 passengers on board and I'm a single pilot, and this is not very nice when there is a vehicle just in front of us. Okay. So we are on Romeo 2. Brakes are checked, steering is working, flight instruments are checked. Okay, and all the taxi checklist is complete. The next checklist is going to be the before takeoff, so now we just have to taxi to the holding point. Okay, now we take a left on Juliet. Then maybe we'll be still able to see Hank. I don't know how is his ground preparation going. So we said we would take outers. Then we will go till the second to the right. Yeah, outer 3, second to the right. We are in Juliet. Maybe Hank already departed. We will check it. Not yet, but he's already taxiing, so we should be seeing him. Strange. Cannot see him. I'm connected to the network, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is outers to the right. Very strange. And my Ticas probably not on the ground, of course. So normally we take the second to the left, because this is Bravo 6. Ah, Hank is on the other side of the terminal. Okay. Okay, I understand. Then we'll have a look back when we arrive to the holding point. So now to the left is Bravo 5. Bravo 5 is confirmed. And we can go till the holding point. Oh, that's supposed to be a different holding point, no? No, okay. Brakes set, taxi lights off. And then let's have a look. You can see Hank on the other side. No, still not. Strange. For some reason I cannot see his model. Oh yeah, he's already... Ah, there is he. Okay, there is Hank. Okay. He's waiting, I can still depart. then I'm going to just quickly do that, because ice protection, let's put the ice protection then on. Let's do wing and engine, pitot heats go on, rudder by assistance check, seats are checked, flap is takeoff, speed brakes are at 0%, trim is set for takeoff, crew briefing. Let's do passenger briefing, charts away, passenger briefing, takeoff briefing short.
May I have your attention, please? We will be taking off shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, stow tables, secure luggage, and loose articles. Ensure your seat is in the upright and outboard position. Extend your headrest and fasten your lap belt and shoulder harness. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's give a quick call that we are line up and takeoff. Line up takeoff from 825 right. Okay. Lining up takeoff from 825 right. That goes back. Charts. Let's start rolling at the same time. Then landing lights go on. I also put the transponder to on. Ice protection is on. Pitot heat is on. Exterior lights as required, except for the strobe lights go also on. And there is no messages on the AGAS. Checklist, no messages on the AGAS. Okay. Then we are good to go. Alright, and after me, Hank, you can also depart. I see that you are waiting there. I don't know what those cars are doing on the runway. Microsoft Flight Simulator is sometimes a bit funny. Alright. Visibility is not very amazing, but you will see that this business jet goes like a rocket. Okay, lined up. Just quickly put the map on. Charts, lower menu, departure chart. Perfect. Heading is correct, 25 right, then let's take off. Timer is on. Throttle is to takeoff position. And let's go. Engine is stable. Airspeed alive. 60. 80. V1 rotate. And then we aim for 10-degree pitch. Positive climb. Gear up. Flaps up. And we start to turn at 1700. Okay, go back to climb setting, do a flight level change, autopilot and nav. Okay, turn started, flight level change, can go to 240. Flaps are up. Autopilot is on. Flight level change. No flight level change. Okay, we are for some reason overspeeding. That's not good. Okay. 410 is set. It should be 600 above here. Flight level change is still set to 240. That's a bit strange. 240. Okay. 240. But if I set flight level change. Okay, flight level change. And then if I set the bar to climb, then we should... No, that's not happening. Why not? Okay, now it's going up. Okay, now we are in climb, but it's still not pitching up enough. Why aren't we pitching up enough? Okay, it's now pitching up. because normally when you are in the climb setting, that it should pitch up to keep the flight level change speed. Probably what I think has happened is that the calculated flight path leveled off for some reason, because now everything is good. So what could have happened, that the flight path leveled off. Okay, we can also go back to standard pressure, because we went through the transition flight level. Okay. And we are already above the clouds. Nice. There is even a bit of a rainbow. Okay, so that was a bit of a strange happening at after takeoff, but we monitored the situation and we were aware of everything that happened, let's say. Okay, let's do a quick after takeoff checklist. Landing gears are up, flaps are up, the throttle is in climb setting, so we actually have a takeoff, climb and a cruise setting. Well, if you come out of climb, then you are in cruise. Yaw damper is on with the autopilot, that goes on automatically. Ice protection as required. I think we can still leave it on for a while. And we will leave the passenger seat belt signs on. Pressurization is fine, altimeters are already set to standard. And you can see that we are climbing 4,500 feet per minute, so that's really like a rocket. Alright. So this is going fine so far. There is the rising moon, nice. Maybe we can have a look from outside too. Right, let's have a look from outside. These are the quick views that are saved. I'm just going to scroll through them just to show how things look like inside the plane. Both wings looking to the front and looking to the back. Alright. We can also turn the landing lights already off. The beacon, nav and strobe lights stay on, and logo lights doesn't really matter during the day, but we can leave them on. And there is not much turbulence, so I will already turn off the seat belt signs. Good. So you can see that you can monitor the flight here on the charts, but we don't really need this anymore, so I'm just going to close these charts. And we can also change what we see here. So first of all, let's put back this to the current position, so that the PPOS is in current position. We can put the terrain also here on. And then what other things we want to do maybe is on the upper menu we can put this off, and then you see a different kind of display, and I prefer this kind of display. It's just more visible. And then let's zoom out a bit. And that's a bit weird. Why do we have the top of descent already so close by? I mean, it's not so close by. Anyway, we'll check things. Let's see if Hank is following us. Yes, that's Hank, that's me. Alright, I think we did a bit different departure. And I see that Mark, I think, is also coming after us. In Oscar uniform, Mike Golf. Nice, so we have 3 people flying, always nice. Let's see if we have ATC on the way. Still only the tower, but it's already a good thing to note down. So the tower frequency, Basel, it's Basel tower, that's how it's called, right? Bala Tower, okay. Bala Tower. Tower is at 118.3. And we expect an arrival of runway 33, okay, runway 33. And the transition altitude is 7,000 feet. And there is quite some weather. Now it says 280 14 knots. We'll see. Okay. While we are climbing, maybe I will not do much yet. Now the arrival we can already program, but that's not a problem. Let's go to departure arrival. Arrival, we do ILS 3. ILS 33. Next, ILS 33, but then Epsilon or Z. Okay, now I will have to check my maps. Which one do we prefer? So, flights from Brussels to Basel, and then let's see the charts for Basel. We are doing the approach. Let's first select the approach, of course, because I know that from the sim brief. The approach is the Orbx.
Traffic.
Okay, but oh, there is.
Monitor vertical speed. Monitor vertical speed. Monitor vertical speed. Descend.
Autopilot.
Descend.
Okay, let's avoid.
Clear of conflict.
Alright, that's also not something that happened to me very often. We really got a TCAS and there is somebody there. Okay, clear of conflict, so we can go back to flight model change. Autopilot on. LNAV on. And then flight model change. 240. And then how do I get back to the track? Go back to climb. And no. Flight mode change, yes, but I also want to go back to strange. Flight mode change is enabled. Anyway, I'm going to do this manually. Vertical speed. And then we just have to hold 240. I would have to check how that works. I have not checked that, to be honest. Okay, so where were we? So, active TCAS. Have not seen that yet. So Orbx 8 kilo arrival. Orbx 8 kilo arrival. And then let's have a look at that map. Can still go a bit more. Okay, so Orbx 8 kilo departure. Where does this take us? I think it's a vectored arrival in any case, so it's gonna be a bit different. Orbx. The Orbx 8 kilo arrival takes us to Altic. There is a transition of Luna. Let's see the approaches. ILS B, runway 33, or ILS Epsilon, or ILS X. ILS X, that looks quite okay. Let's try that. ILS X 33. Transition Altic. Yes, let's try that. What is the low? No. And maybe not the Altic. Let's zoom there. Then zoom in, and then next waypoint. Yep. Okay. So from Altic it goes to the DMS 17. It does indeed look correct. And then we go back here. But yeah, nice flight to you too. Alright. Okay. Then what's the Altic? No, that's actually what we want to do, but then we would not go that far. The wheel 16 and then turn back. Okay, so we want that, but we don't want to go like this because that's incorrect. So let's clean things up a bit, and I will show later what exactly happens here when we have to lower our rate because we'll never be able to speed up. Max 6.4 is what we actually need to hold during the climb. Okay, let's clear things up. So we go to legs, and then next, and then after our Tirso, just before Altic, and there is a discontinuity indeed. So, and the BLM 20, BLM 16, and it's a bit more difficult with the CRA than it was with the Cessna than it was with the Airbus, for example, because sometimes when these things get joined together, things are not so clear, to be honest. Let's zoom in a bit more. Okay. So after Arcus, then we can also maybe do a bit more, so I see better. Okay, so we don't want to go to Altic because that would be too far. If I put up the chart, maybe I can quickly show. Upper and close, and then the islands. This. Okay, so we want to come this way and then come over to the islands. Soon we will level off, and then I will have to do a bit of action, because something that's also very different compared to the Airbus, which I've used to be flying a lot, that there is no auto throttle. So whenever we level off, I will have to play around with the throttle to set a good cruise speed. Now we are in the climb detent, so that's fine. That automatically adjusts to the best throttle, the best performance for the engines for the climb. But then we'll have to come out of it. Okay. So now, after there is a bit, what's the waypoint before
altitude?
Okay, in 1,000 feet we'll be there. Oops. Previous. But this Altic we don't want. Let's clear that. Okay, I will wait till we are leveled off, because I don't want to mess up the speed. I don't want to overspeed again. don't need engine on the ice anymore. We're about to level off. Okay, and then now we are going to cruise mode, and we'll slowly speed up to just below the red line. You can see that actually now we are at higher power setting than we were in the climb, but we can sustain this fine. You will see that we are slowly speeding up. Okay, so basically what we want to do is after Orbx we want to go to BRM 20. So we just copy the BRM 20 to the place of Orbx. To the place of Altic. And then execute. And that's still not exactly. That's really strange. The D2720 should be deleted. Don't need that. Okay. But something is still not fully okay. There is one waypoint which is not fine, which is this wheel 16. Wheel 16, let's clear that too. Cute. And now it looks as it should be looking like, I think. Chart. How is our speed? Okay, and now we can pull back the speed to around 9, the throttle to around 95, and what we want to see is that the numbers are not really moving. Okay, so now we are slowing a bit down, and can be a bit more. Very fine adjustments. Around 95%, and the one is going to be fine. I'm going to leave it like that. And you see that we are at Mach 0.75, almost Mach 0.76, so it's quite nice speed. Okay, and then let's check our arrival once more versus the chart, but I think everything is looking good. After Orbx, we come to the BLM, and normally it would be vectored here, so it's also on the charts that for the ILS-X arrival that we've chosen, that you expect to be vectored. And there is indeed, and then you're at the DMN. Okay, now it looks good. Let's just skip through the waypoints. That there is no wrong order. Okay, everything is good. And then of course the next waypoints you don't see that, but that's the missed approach. So if I go back to here, not loaded in, but there is also missed approach waypoints. Anyway, okay, so this is all good. Our speed is stable, our altitude is good. Anything we need to do in the cruise? I don't think there is anything we need to do in the cruise. Mostly, we'll have a look at our fuel balance. There is a tiny bit of imbalance, of course, because we used our left engine as a power source instead of a ground power unit. But everything is good. Throttles are checked, pressurization is good, and the ice protection systems are set as required. Okay, our arrival is also land, so we can go back to current position, and we can zoom out a bit, and top of descent is almost there already. That's quite funny. Okay, and then there is a 5,700 above at the MS-17. Yes, that's correct. I can see that on the map too. If I put the chart here, then it's, if I zoom in, you can see it. It's difficult. It's here, that's the 5,700, that's the minimum we can be there, and that's going to be also the start of the islands. That's where we'll start going down on the glide slope. So the final altitude is 5,700. We'll note that for ourselves. And That's good. Let's have a quick look outside. It's definitely a nice view. I have to say that Microsoft Flight Simulator really looks pretty. And I have to say that if you have a good plane like these modeled planes, also the DA40, then it flies to me as good as X-Plane. Some systems you could see that are not fully modeled yet, also of course because it's a freeware project. But as soon as good Airbuses will come, and also the freeware Airbus project, how they are called again. Anyway, so the freeware Airbus mod that everybody is using is a very nice mod. They still don't have VNAV, so I have not tried it yet because I don't want to fly without VNAV on Airbus. It's such an important feature. But it's a nice aircraft. Okay, we can already prepare our arrival. Let's say top of descent, when we will be there, the runway will be 33. And the approach is going to be an ILS approach. And the star is Arcus. And what was the name of it? Arbus 8 Kilo. So the Arbus 8 Kilo arrival. Can I type here? Yes, Arbus. Oops. No, I cannot. Arbus 8 Kilo arrival runway 33. Okay. Let's maybe zoom out a bit in the TCAS. Okay. Nobody in the vicinity. On top of this it's at 12.5 miles. So we can already set our descent altitude, which is going to be to 5,700 feet. So we dial in 5,700 feet. We can also, just as a note, go to the performance VNAV setup, but again, as I said, this is not modeled, and set a transition altitude of 7,000 feet. And then, just before we reach the top of descent, I will do some action again. So descent pressurization is still fine. Ice protection systems not yet required, but then we should maybe pay attention that when we descend, we turn them on when necessary. And then the altimeters are still set to standard, and exterior lights as required. All the lights are on as required. So that's all good. The before descent checklist is complete. And then, since we are very close to the top of descent, I'm going to hit VNAV. Then you see that the pad get armed, and we can already see the star here. When the star starts coming down, then we will meet, and we will start descending with the rate that's marked by this magenta circle. And you can see that it's coming down. We'll reach our top of descent. I'm going to send a message. Send top of descent, leaving flight level 410, and then we started going down. And then now we have to pull back the throttle a bit, otherwise we would be speeding up way too much. So we can still stay at quite a fast speed, just under the red line. The only thing we'll have to pay attention to is Swiss radar is online. That's heck. That's good, but Swiss radar is not good for us. Yeah, because we'll be arriving from I don't think Swiss radar has anything over Basel, I don't know, because they also don't have the information. So if I click on the Swiss radar, I don't know, if I don't think they have anything to do with Basel. Yeah, it's a good question. I actually am not sure. But I thought they have no jurisdiction over Basel. Well, worst case scenario, they are going to shout at us, and then I will switch to Swiss radar. But otherwise, I was not planning to contact Swiss radar. Alright, speed is good. Descent is going fine. Put a bit of brightness in the displays because now in the sun it's much more difficult to see. Zoom out on this chart. Okay, so it's gonna be 5700. We can already prepare the ILS frequency, even though it should auto-tune itself. But just to be sure, I put in 109.35, right? 109.35, 109.35 to the nav frequency. 109.35, 109.35. Okay, that's good. Go back to the lights. And we can also have a look in the index, for example, the progress tells us that in 40 minutes we should be landing at Basel with quite a lot of fuel left. So much fuel left because I set as a reserve Luxembourg, so that would have been a long flight back if we could not have landed, or should we not be able to land Basel, but hopefully there won't be an issue. We can still go a bit faster. And you can also have some other information, for example, in the, where is this? In the, not the status, but in the performance flight log, for example, you can see the takeoff time, how much fuel is used, how long we are en route. You also see the timer basically that I've started when we took off. And, yeah, indeed, then for the approach, maybe we should set up things before it gets too late. Then you go to the curve, but we need the weather. So we go to the data link, we go to weather, and then we go request again, go return and view, and then we see that it is 260. The weather is 260 knots, 260 degrees, and it is 11 knots. So runway 33, it's going to be quite some crosswind. Broken at 5,000, broken at 5,000, 18 degrees, and the QNH is 1011. Okay, and actually now we should be able to also see the ATIS, or Lima Foxtrot, what was this? Sierra Bravo? Lima Foxtrot, Lima Foxtrot Sierra Bravo, indeed. Sierra Bravo. And then send. And then we see indeed that there is a tower information Delta. That might be useful. And that the arrival runway is 33. Transition level is 90, transition is 7,000, welcome to Basel. And there is no other information. Okay, that's what we need. And then we go to the performance approach, and then we set for the Lima Foxtrot Sierra Bravo. The wind is 260 degrees, the speed is still fine, 260 degrees, 11 knots. Temperature is 18 degrees. QNH is 1011. And the runway is probably dry, but it's a very long runway, so it's not, doesn't really matter. And then here you can set what safety factor you want for the expected landing distance required. It's going to be 1000 meters with a 4 kilometer runway. So that's fine. We sent the V speeds, the approach speed is going to be 106 knots. So that's set. Let's see, minimums. We can also set our minimums while we are descending further. And for the minimums, we check our chart. Check our chart again. If I manage to click, still this clicking is not the best. We are category B, airplane is 1080, and then you can set it here in the BFD menu by going to bearing source, not that, going to escape, going to preferences, and then you can set a borough reference at 1080, 1080, and then it's set nicely. Okay, borough is set 1080, nice. Okay, this is good. This is what we want to see on final. Our route, the glide slope and the speeds, even though that should be managed nicely by the autopilot. So normally we shouldn't bother. There are some high clouds there, and there's the moon. Nice view. And our speed is perfectly fine. Let's have a look at the situation. So that's what I was talking about. I'm the yellow plane, Hank is behind me. Oh, and Basel went offline. So there is no more Basel Tower. So to me this is a bit of a puzzle. If Basel is also, Swiss radar is also handling Basel or not. Maybe we can ask them, but well, I don't know. I still want to see our route here in the meantime. Yeah, we are already on the arrival and we are nowhere near in Basel, in Swiss radar, so I assume Swiss radar has nothing to do with us, to be honest. Okay, for the landing there is nothing very special. By 10,000 feet we will reduce to 250 knots. And then for final, there is a maximum 200 knots here in the turn. And we would want to be around 160 maybe at the beginning of the glide slope, and 104 is the approach speed, so we'll slowly slow down. But when you put out the gear, and you can put out the gear already at 200 knots, then there is so much drag that slowing down is no issue in this plane. Okay, but since we are getting closer to the planes, and the clouds, not the planes, I'm going to also put the anti-ice on, just to be on the safe side. And now you can see that the localizer is automatically tuned, so it's 10935, so that's correct, and that's going to be the course. That should be 333, and this is probably pointing towards 333 because the reverse is 153, so that's good. But if you would want to see it in a different structure, then you can also change here to rows, for example, and you can indeed see that it's pointing at 333. We can leave it at rows, it's maybe a better view. Okay. And now you can see that we are here on the arrival. It's a bit different in the database than it's on the map, to be honest. But again, we should be actually vectored here. It's probably going here, yeah, because there is the 228 radial from the VOR here, so that's that point. Just we did not go as it was on the map exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's slowly reduce our speed, because in 2.5 minutes we'll be crossing 10,000 feet. Let's do our next message is going to be on final, to be honest. Now we can send the message that we are on descent plus on flight level 154, ILS approach runway 33, and then next gonna be on final. That's good. Okay, but our speed is almost good already for 10,000. There is some terrain visible. There are some bigger mountains. But I have the feeling we are going to be quite blind for most of the approach. Okay, did we... No, that's seatbelt signs on.
May I have your attention, please? The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
And let's also do the landing briefing.
May I have your attention, please? We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, stow tables, secure luggage, and loose articles. Return your seat to the upright and outboard position. Extend your headrest and fasten your lap belt and shoulder harness. After landing, please remain in your seat.
Okay, thanks Hank for the ballasting, the confirmation. I should be still talking English. So thanks for the confirmation that we can just stay on Unicom. That's good information. And I'm feeling much better now, because I was a bit worried that they would ring our messages and tell us that we are in the illegal, but we are fine. Okay, but we can still have a quick look what's the situation here. So there is one airplane which will be leaving at one point and is following us nicely, and there is no other traffic, so that should be safe. We are about to cross 10,000 feet, so we can put the landing lights on. Transition flight level was 090, so very soon we can also switch to the local pressure. Local QNH is 101 Can see some of the scenery. And that's a nice thing also about Microsoft Flight Simulator. You don't have to download any ortho scenery. It just works. I mean, as soon as the planes fly well, this is going to be so much better. I mean, to me, than X-Plane, because I really love X-Plane. I also spent a lot of time making the scenery of Charleroi in this plane, but I mean, this just looks so much nicer, and if I'm just spending a bit of time, free time to enjoy the simulator, then when I go back now to explain, everything looks so washed out. And seriously, if you fly with well done, well modded aircraft, or in the near future also even more well simulated also airliners, then there is not going to be a difference. Okay, but that's now really slowed down, so I'm going to put back to idle to slow a bit more down, because we need to be at 200 knots here. I'm going to also put a bit of speed brakes in to help the slowing down, sorry. We can go to local pressure, which is 1011, 101, 1011, also here 1011, and at 200 we can also put out lap 15 if you want. I'm going to slow down to 180 knots. There's a bit of turbulence here in the clouds. Okay, 190, 180. We can pull back the speed brakes. Flaps 15. Let's slow down in the turn to around 160. And we can also do something which, before I forget, we can start recording, so we can do a replay, because Flight Simulator by default there is no replay. Did I press the wrong button? Probably. No? It's here. Start recording. Okay, we are recording, so we will be able to make a replay. Okay, let's slow down even a bit more. I think we'll be...
Altitude.
Okay. Our next waypoint is going to be basically the approach. Well, let's arm the approach. The approach is armed. You can see the diamonds of the iris here. In 1 mile we'll be at the next waypoint, but we'll probably start the turn. Yes, turn is starting. We will now intercept the localizer. And at 12.6, yes, now we switch to nav mode, and then we intercept the localizer. And soon we'll start going down. Let's keep a bit of speed, not going down too fast. Okay, so we have just intercepted the glide slope. Then we can send a message that we are on final. We are established. Amazing weather again. And then slowly we want to slow down to approach. But we are still quite far. We are 12 miles from the DME, but the DME is the VOR, but the VOR is behind the runway. So when we are at 2,530, then we will be 4.3 miles from touchdown. By then, let's have the gears down. And when we land, we will have to put all the spoilers manually down. I have a button for that, so it's not going to be visible. But it's not there is no auto spoilers out upon landing. The lights are all good, right? Landing lights are on, passenger safety lights are on. QNH is set. Before landing gear not yet down, but soon. And the runway is at 880 feet, so let's say 2000 about that is where we should put down the gears, so that's 2900, let's say, and put the gears down and go full flaps. And then our speed will also go back quite fast from the track, because now we are going down basically idle, but not yet full flaps. Do a bit of speed brakes because our speed is just going up a bit too much. There's quite a lot of crosswind. I mean, if it's gonna be so much crosswind, I'm not sure I can handle that with this plane. would be much better to land on a small runway across. We'll see, the wind should be less at the lower level still. Alright, I think the gears can already go down, and that's gonna be enough drag, so we put the speed brakes back. Okay, I'm flaps full. Still a lot of crosswind. Okay, and now balance, don't let the speed drop too fast. We want to go to a bit higher than approach speed because of the wind, strong wind. Alright, it's still 23, 24 knots from the side. And I cannot read the visual circling to the right because there is no visibility, so that's not good. Okay, we are on the approach speed now. Keep the speed nicely. Still 22 knots. So if after landing we leave the runway, that's because the crosswind handling in my flight simulator is not the best yet. We'll still try to do our best, but should I leave the runway? Well, you know why it's happening. Their speed is a bit on the low side, so let's put a bit of extra power. Get closer to the ground, the crosswind is less. That's good. Already down to 17 knots, 16 knots. Let's hope it's going to stay like that. You can see also that there's a terrain awareness on the map. Now we are a bit too fast. Okay, 15 knots crosswind, 14 knots. I should be able to handle that. The weather is really bad. Right, speed is good. Runway inside, there is a very long extended threshold here. We are on the glide slope perfectly, too white, too red. Speed is good. Already going to go manual autopilot, disconnect, EO disconnect, flight director off. So now we are head flying. Still good. Visibility is horrible on final. Crosswind 10 knots. 10 knots should be fine.
Minimums.
Bit
Minimums.
Low, continue. It is good. Here we are just above the threshold. We can put power idle and nicely go down. And just when we are down. Okay, counter rudder, spoilers. Let's also do a bit of braking. Okay. Nice, landed. The next exit we exit right. Don't touch anything else until we left the runway. Until we leave the runway. Oops, there is the exit. and then we just go past the hold short, and then we will tell Hank that we have vacated the runway. Okay, brakes set, quick vacate message, runway vacated, and then the transponder has to go to standby indeed. Transponder standby, the spoilers up, flaps up, being an engine anti-icing go off, pitot heat can go off. We go back to taxi lights. Then after landing, speed brake 0, flaps 0, pitot heat off, ice protection off, radar standby, exterior lights as required after landing. Checklist is complete. Then let's just go a bit further, so if Hank is landing then we are not in the way, but we'll have to go to the right. And then here we can put up the airport chart. Airport chart. Okay. And I'm not going to go to the general aviation apron, but I'm going to stand in front of the main terminal, because there is plenty of space and we are picking up VIPs anyway. So. And then we can see Hank landing. Nice. There is Hank. And somebody who made this scenery has put the windsock at the wrong direction, because the wind is actually from the right. This is a very stupid thing in the SDK of Microsoft Flight Simulator, because if you place a windsock, I have seen it, then the default placement orientation is 180 degrees to where it actually should be. So if people don't change the default orientation, then the windsock is going to point exactly to the wrong direction. And that's really a mistake they made, because if you do the same thing in the scenery editor of X-Plane, then if you place a windsock with a default orientation, then it's going to point exactly where it should be pointing. So of course there are some issues here and there, but overall I think the experience is nice. And of course if you're a scenery designer that's aware of these issues, you will not make the mistakes. You can I think even see the tank is also crabbing a bit into the wind. Yeah, here, look, there is two windsocks, one is pointing to the right direction, one is pointing to the wrong direction. Yeah, sceneries. We will taxi here to the left. I will go here to the left, but I will wait to see how Hank is landing. Nice. Oh, he landed. Okay, I think Hank is fine, he's not going to go. Alright, let's taxi. So normally the general aviation area is here through this small gate, but we are not going to go there. We are going to go in front of the terminal, because for a VIP we can do that. At least in the simulator I can do that. And then afterwards we will disconnect for a short time, have a look at the replay of the landing, and then we will continue with the second leg of the flight to Corsica. Going to be similar in length probably as this flight was. Alright, so I just want to stop in front of that. Is it here to the left? 28, I'm not... Yes, because here we can go to 28. Yeah. Or 26, 28A or 28. it's perfect, and then we can nicely turn out from here when we want to leave. We don't need a pushback truck. Alright, parking brake. And then local lights can stay, taxi lights off, strobe lights off. Already when we left the runway that could have been off. Charts off. And I will actually turn everything off. But first show the replay. Okay. And then everything is going to continue from the replay point as I leave it now, normally. So let's stop recording. And then when I hit replay, it will replay, but let's wait a bit of time before we do that. Let's do it from outside too. Oh, we are actually stopped almost exactly on the line. Very proud of ourselves. There is Hank. Ah yeah, there is Hank in the rain. Maybe I will wait in any case till Hank is here, so we can we can stop somewhere next to us. And then we'll also have to plan our second leg of the flight. Just want to be able to see how Hank is coming. I hope on Corsica the weather is going to be nicer, because so far we've only seen clouds and rain. It would be nice to see something under us, some terrain. I'm just going to write in the chat that I will disconnect from IVAO for 5 minutes for the replay, but then I will start up again and continue. Stream stays on, of course. And let's see, Hank is just behind us nicely. Maybe he's going to stop just next to us, hopefully, somewhere. Well, we were a bit lucky actually at the landing, because with this visibility we might not have had the runway in sight in time before the minimums. Okay, so let's disconnect from the network for a second. And now of course you're not going to see Hank anymore, but that's something we have to pay for it. And then let's try to have a look at the replay. This is the second time I'm only trying to do a replay, so we'll see how it goes. But normally I hit replay, and then we are transported, of course. Then I'm going to pause replay, and I'm going to put ourselves a bit closer.
Minimums.
Okay, not that close. This close. Basic replay. Where are we? Ah, there is the runway. Okay. Of course, the weather stays as it is, because what this replay software does is that it just replays the position, but everything else stays as it was in Flight Simulator. So I'm just going to let the replay play out like this. And then maybe we'll also do one wing view. There is a very long accident threshold here, so for takeoff there is much more distance available. We were a tiny bit low at the end, but nothing too bad.
Minimums.
And it's quite floaty, this aircraft, I feel. Right, very smooth landing. and then trying to stay on the center line with the crosswind. Nose wheel goes down, spoilers come up, and then manual braking. All very good. We can try another view also. So we can pause replay, go a tiny bit back again. Let's resume replay, and then let's have another maybe more interesting look. Wing view, towards the terminal. Really bad weather. There is a very short runway across here, for which there is only visual approach. Very nice and smooth landing. Bit floated and the center line was, well, it was somewhere under us. Not too bad though. Okay, let's stop the replay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, damn it. Okay, now actually that's not what I should have done, because stop replay actually just stops the replay and then you take it over. So now I will have to taxi back to where I was, as if I had no, but I'm not gonna save it, but for the next flight we'll use it anyway. So we'll just taxi back to where we were, because if I had done it properly with the software I would have been teleported back where I started the replay. Since I'm not online, this is not a big issue. We'll just do as we have already done this and then reconnect to the network at the gate. So for those who just want to see taxiing around the random airport, this is the best content. I'm sorry to hear, Hank, you cannot fly the second leg, but very happy that you joined for the first one. And I will send screenshots from the island as company. Let's see how the systems are now that we were thrown out of the replay mode. Of course the lights are different, so taxi lights instead of that, we don't need the strobe lights anymore. We are on standby. Oops. So everything else is fine. But normally Mark is still coming to land, or has already landed. In the meantime we'll have a look. Oh yeah, here is Mark. He's coming from the hold. Okay. Probably after departure from here we'll have to contact Swiss radar at one point. So maybe there will be a bit more ATC. Oh, there is a lot of ATC for the second leg. Okay, might be good. And I still do a complete shutdown and a startup, so I have to change the fuel and everything. I already had to go right here, right? I think so. And then in the sim brief I will still have to make a quick flight plan, but normally it's very straightforward, and submit it as a flight plan to IVAO before reconnecting. Okay, so that was our spot here to the left. And this car is in our way. Move. A bit let's say, annoying with the flight simulator that these things can just happen. I think there is not much of a way of turning these off, but I will have to look into it. So just don't look there and we'll assume it's not there. Cannot crash it, but still need to be here, so. Okay, brakes. And then the text lights can go off. Seatbelt signs already off, even though the motor is still running. Avionics switch can go off. The emergency light switch go off. Standby flight display go off. Avionics go off. Climate control selector goes off. You get a few errors, that's normal. Throttles are idle. And then stop the engines. Engine stopped. And the battery can also go off after everything has spooled down. And then we will plan our second leg. Okay, everything's spooled down. We are quite okay in our parking position. That's also a bit of a problem that there is no marshallers or a docking system yet. Its lights also go off first, and the spoilers should be off, and the flaps should be off and up too. And that doesn't go without. Yeah, I cannot move the flaps without more power, seemingly. No, I cannot. So we'll not do that. Probably need hydraulics for that, of course. Okay, but then we'll just set it to 15 because it's at position 15, and then when next time we start it up, it's gonna be fine. Okay, battery off. Okay, it's fully off. Then let's quickly plan our next route in SimBrief. Oops. New flight. And we are in, where are we? Basel. What is the plan? The plan is from Basel to Lima Foxtrot Kilo Bravo, Lima Foxtrot Kilo Bravo. And okay, Rome is the backup. Let's hope we don't need that. What's the airport? Corsica. Here there is 20, so it's going to be probably 16. Plan 16. It's also 16, departure 33, that's correct. Departure, we can do that earlier, we can do that at 16 Zulu. That's 18 local, that's okay. We do it with the working title CRG. Now we will have 4 passengers. And that's correct, that's correct. That was the route we planned. Alban, Ligur, yes. Okay, let's generate a flight plan. And let's see what we made. From, that's correct. Flight time of 1 hour. Okay, let's pre-file this on IVAO. And the only change is that it's the general aviation, and the person on board will be 5. The rest we don't give the arrival and departure hidden star. And let's flight with 270, it's quite low. I don't know why it's planning so low above the Alps. I've done a test flight, it was quite bumpy. So what if we do a bit higher, because now Yeah, if we go higher, there is even gonna be better wind, so crosswind though. So let's go higher because there is quite some weather this low. Let's go like flight level 350 or something. We can easily do that. Then I'm just going to replan the flight because it's going to be a bit more different. Edit flight. And then flight level 350. Let's generate a flight plan like that. Okay, view. That looks good. That looks good to me. And it's 1 minute longer though. Okay, and it takes a bit more fuel, but it should be a smoother flight because above the Alps there might be quite some turbulence. Okay, then prefile this and on the IVAO network. General aviation, no seat stars in the flight plan. And there's 5 people on board. Submit. And it's active. I'm also going to put that on my own screen, second screen, and then we can connect back. And it's correct. And maybe, and there is somebody just, okay. So this is still probably Hank, and is that Mark landing right now? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Okay, so we are loaded back in, and Mark is probably landing there. Alright, nice landing. Then let's get back to business. And now we have to set some things. I will start by no fuel and no pilots. And I will set up the weights also so you can see how it works. So normally we need to have a zero fuel weight of 4971 kilograms. I am 74 kilos. Well, I'm not 74 anymore, a bit less, but... And we need 4 passengers. So let's do 78, 78, 75, 4968, 4971. Okay, that's a bit too much. And then let's have some lighter passengers. Take some kids. 4975. And we need 4971. Okay, then let's do this 4971. Okay. And then we need fuel of 1276 kilograms. 1276 kilograms. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. Then the fuel is set. And then we can start up everything again. If I remember correctly, if we've done everything, I think we've done everything. We are cold and dark, our flaps are still down, but that should normally work after we start an engine. There is still somebody else on about to land there. There is Mark probably. Okay, so let's start things up. Battery switch goes on. You have to wait a tiny bit with this. Okay. Emergency lights armed, standby displays on. Avionics speech goes to dispatch. And maybe now I can show how it works when we do ground power. Let's do state, no, position initialization. It's complete, it still remembers our position. Okay, that's good. And then what I wanted to do is clearly not, it clearly has not cleaned up itself, but there should be a menu and a mode set and then ground power on. So now there is ground power. If it's available. No, let's just do it off. Ground power off. Let's do everything as we've done before. Let's do our route. That's in route menu, import flight plan, and execute. Okay, and now this should be fine. Why is the destination not set here? A bit weird. Legs. Uh-oh. Well, maybe I will have to load it again in, because this is not correct now. Flight plan, index, route menu. No, it seems to be working, okay. Okay, now this is good. I will put this to position plan, and then let's okay, now it's good. Okay, that's good. This is the first plan that I'm doing like a turn around. So I have not tried this turning everything off yet and then starting everything up again, but I hope it's going to work perfectly fine. Okay, parking is set, wheel chocks are removed, cabin doors closed, passenger briefing is complete, seat belts and pedals adjusted and secure, exterior lights. We need the beacon lights before we start the engine. Otherwise we are set. This I will still leave on plan. Climate control is off. We'll start one engine. Now start with the right one. Normally they alternated. The starter is gone, ETT is rising, N1 is rising. And now the flaps are also fine, so probably there was already pressure. Alright, normally we should be already fine system-wise. Yes, there is electricity from the right. So then we can put avionics on. And then the altitude is going to be 350 for the cruise. I still have a feeling that something is not okay, because okay, maybe the arrivals are not yet, arrival departure is not yet set, so it should be fine. Okay. Anyway, we've started the engine. Everything on climate control was to normal. We can already tell the passengers to please wear their lights. The
May I
lights go
have your
on.
attention, please? At this time,
Trim
please comply with the illuminated seat belt and no
is
smoking
set.
signs.
Flight
Thank you.
controls still full and free. What about the rudder? Also full and free. Flaps goes to takeoff. We don't need the anti-ice yet because it's not that cold. Let's do departure arrival. So our departure is an all band 7 November. Execute. Okay. The arrival we don't know yet. And now we have that properly there, that's good. Then let's get some information from the weather, and that's on the previous page. Data link weather request, and now we can clear this. Okay, we cannot clear that. Really? Okay, no, we cannot clear that. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it's good to go completely reload the plane if we do a turn-off-turn shutdown, full shutdown. But luckily there is still quite enough space here, so we can just also put Lima Foxtrot Kilo Bravo for our destination here, and then check the weather. It's received. View the weather for our location, and the weather now is still 280 degrees wind, 280 degrees, 13 knots, so that's less of a side wind than it was before, 18 degrees and 1011 QNH. Okay, then performance initialization. Our zero fuel weight was 4971, and our gross weight now is 6248 with sense fuel 1277. That should be good. Okay. We now set up the transition altitude for 7,000 feet. That's still correct. And then the takeoff. The wind is 280. 28013. It's wet, and the QNH is 1011, and the temperature is 18 degrees. Headwind 7 and crosswind 10 knots. That's correct. And we will take off at flaps 15, and let's send the V-speeds. V-speeds are populating, that's good. Okay. Then let's do a quick check at our legs, if there is somewhere a discontinuity or same things twice, and old one is indeed twice. So we will delete one of the old ones. And that's gonna be maybe just copy this one and go to this one, execute. Okay, that's all good. Takeoff date is set, avian X1011, we still need to turn that in. 1011, 1011, altimeter set, pressure is 5. There is still messages, so let's start the other engine too. And while our engine starts, we can make our message that we are going to taxi to runway 33, and we'll need the map, so I don't know the route yet. just can go back to current position instead of plan. And our engines are fine, no messages, we are all good. And the climate control is still normal, lights are good, everything is set, so basically we can taxi, and for that we need a chart. That's the chart actually we need, so that's good. Close. Escape? Yes, okay. So we are going to take off from runway 33, but we don't need the full length. But we can only come out of Alpha, so let's just go via Alpha. I need a different chart. I cannot tell what's the name. Alpha Sierra Delta. Alpha Sierra Delta. The Alpha Bravo Delta. Alpha Bravo Delta. That's where Alpha Bravo Delta. Alpha Bravo Delta. Hold short Delta. Is there any other traffic nearby, just that we are aware? Okay, no other traffic nearby. Okay, then we can go. After departure, we will have to contact probably Swiss radar. Let's make notes. Swiss radar on 128 705. Swiss radar 128 705, and we are going to be on the Alban 7 November departure from Basel. That's the information we need. So in 2000 we are still on standby, right? Good. Then we can taxi. Taxiing to holding point Delta, runway 33, not right, runway 33, just normal, 33. Yes, runway 33, we get taxiway Alpha Bravo Delta. Okay, then taxi lights go on, and we can go. We will just turn out to the right. Plenty of space here. Bravo is to the right. Right clear. And Delta is going to be the first right, so we don't need the map anymore. But we'll need the departure map instead. Right, that was a big bump. me when we are at the holding point. Okay, parking brakes, and let's prepare everything for takeoff. On 7th November, so basically turn at 1900, not before, and maximum 220 knots. Okay, so there is maximum 220 knots, and at all band 250. So the first one there is a 220. You can also put that here in. That's the SB703. Until SB703 it's 220. So 220, 220. SB703. That's still 220. And from there on, it doesn't matter. Okay, 333 is going to be the initial heading. Let's put that in as a reminder. Heading 333. Yes, that's good. Yes, the source. This is not good. Is going to be like this now, because it was still left. The source is going to be the flight computer instead of the localizer, and that's good. Okay, before takeoff, let's put the ice protection, wing and engine anti-ice, pitot and static heat, seats and check flaps are at takeoff, trim is set, speed brakes are back. There is a quick briefing, passenger briefing, takeoff short. Hello, takeoff short. Huh, interesting. For some reason I cannot play it. Maybe it's because we didn't start as we started last time. Weird. Alright, we are going to put our transponder on. Okay, transponder is on. Also here, transponder is on. And then let's strobe lights also on. And let's line up. Is there anybody coming? Nobody's coming. Then line up and take off. Approach path is clear. Alright, thanks Mark for flying along for the first leg, and it's good that you are going to be following on the stream. I hope we'll have some better weather. Okay, line up. Runway 33 confirmed. Let's put our departure chart back up. And remember, it's 220 for the flight level change. Okay, then let's take off. Takeoff power set. Engines stable. Airspeed alive.
Traffic, traffic.
V1, rotate. Speed rate, gears up. Flaps up. Can only go to climb, detent. And we are at 1900, so I'm going to be already autopilot nav mode, and we can do flight level change and put that up to 215. Okay, and now flight level change also is doing its job properly. Depths are up, gears are up, lights are okay. And after the turn we will contact the Swiss radar. That SB701 will make a right turn to SB703, and that's now. And we are already above the clouds. Okay, but then we transition altitude is passed, so standard baro is standard, this is also standard, and then at 10,000 landing lights will go off. Okay, landing lights off. Then we have to contact, I think, Swiss radar. Where are we? Yes. Let's. We can already say inbound all, but basically. Okay, so the frequency for Swiss radar is 128.05. 128.05.
That expect vectors to 8.
Carry 269 and after 6.
My papa is correct. Winning 25, Echo Alpha, contact Swiss 124.225, bye-bye.
124.225, Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen, Berlin 25,
Ciao. Croatia 1097, contact arrival 130, decimal 560, bye-bye.
130.560 for
Swiss radar, Oscar Papa, Sierra Papa, good afternoon. We are climbing flight level 180, passing flight level 180, climbing flight level 350 on the Olden 7 November departure from Basel.
Oscar Papa, Sierra Papa, Swiss radar, good day, Squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000, Oscar Papa, Sierra Papa.
Swiss radar, good evening, Iberia 8349er with you, reaching flight level 120, requesting further climb.
Iberia 8349, Swiss radar, good day, identified, climb flight level 240.
Climbing flight level 240, Iberia 8349er.
Delta Mike Papa, contact arrival 118, correction 135, decimal 230, bye-bye.
135, Mike Papa and
Okay, then inform Zurich arrival of that and he will give you vector.
25.
Alright, so I also turned up our flight level change speed to 240 because we are past the speed restriction. And now we are on the radar of Swiss radar. So I'm going to close our chart here and zoom out a bit.
Provided 6229, contact Swiss 124.225, bye-bye.
124.225, so there is 629, bye-bye.
Hearing 597, contact Swiss 124.225, bye-bye.
Contact Swiss 124.225, good day.
Moscow Papa Sierra Papa identified, climb flight level 350, direct guess.
Climb flight level 350 and say on the direct Oscar Papa Sierra Papa.
Yeah, sure, direct guess, Golf Echo Romeo Sierra Alpha.
Direct Gersa, Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, thanks. So direct Gersa, let's hope that I can do that. Where is Gersa? No, there is no Gersa. Flight plan, let's... Ah yeah, Gersa. Can I just say direct Gersa execute. Allez, direct Gersa execute. Alright. We are still going to stay in Swiss radar territory for quite some time, and then we expect to be in the Milano.
España 801 Delta, reaching flight level 240.
España 801 Delta, climb flight level 300.
Flight level 300 at España 01 Delta.
And Milano radar is 135.455. And only 135.455. Next frequency is prepared. That's going to be Milano radar 135.455, 135.455 indeed. And then we still have quite some time before the descent to
España 801 Delta, contact Swiss 124.225, bye-bye.
124.225, thank you very much, España 01 Delta.
to Corsica. In Corsica the weather is quite good.
9 Bravo Mike, next report Vaduz.
Full report Vaduz, 9 Alpha Tango Bravo Mike. Swiss radar, Iberia 8349, reaching 240.
Grab 8349, climb flight level 300.
Climbing flight level 300, Iberia 8349er.
Autopilot has quite some issue in capturing this radial, so might have to do it a bit manually. I don't know why there's so much oscillation in it. Probably a bit of a Microsoft Flight Simulator issue, to be honest. Because capturing this shouldn't be such a difficult. Okay, but now it's going to be fine. And you can see that after a specific height, the 240 switches to max 0.64. So that's going to be the flight level change speed automatically. And then when we arrive to flight level 350, then we can speed up to our cruise speed.
Swiss Radar, einen schönen guten Abend, das ist Lufthansa 1503, Flight Level 360.
So 1503, Swiss Radar, good day, identify. Direct Sonom, then Delta Fox 612.
Direct Sonom and then Delta Fox 612, Lufthansa 1503.
Lufthansa 1503 at Sonom, descent flight level 320.
At Sonom, descent flight level 320, Lufthansa 1503.
Now we can come out of climb mode to cruise mode.
Zurich Radar, good evening. Napoleon 4227, inbound gears, level 110, climb 120.
Napoleon 4227, Swiss Radar, good evening, identified. Climb flight level 370.
And speed up a bit.
Continue, climb 370, final, thank you, Napoleon 427.
Niner Bravo Mike, overhead Vaduz, 9,500 feet.
Bravo Mike, Roger, report when leaving Swiss airspace.
Wilco, Niner Bravo Mike.
Some
EBBR 8349,
Polar
contact
mountains.
Swiss 124, decimal 225.
124225, Iberia 8349er, bye.
And now we can pull back a bit the throttle, not overspeed. Above the Alps, it's gonna be probably a bit bumpy, so I'm not going to turn off the seatbelt signs yet. But we don't need the anti-ice anymore.
Swiss Radar, please confirm for Lufthansa 1503, start descent at Sonom, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It was badly badly said, but yes, sorry for that. Yeah, at Sonom you can start descent 320.
No worries, thank you very much, Lufthansa 1503.
Okay, but we need to set up some arrival to be able to see where we need to descend. So for that, bumpy, very bumpy, above the Alps. Okay, so let's set up an arrival. Arrival. We will do airnav to runway 3. No, airnav to runway 16. That's how the weather was in Corsica, right? Because it's 1406 knots, so indeed, that's going to be an airnav runway 16. And the Nigur van Victor arrival. Nigur van Victor arrival. And then let's have a look how that looks. With this plan. And then okay, that looks good. What does the
Niner Bravo Mike, we will be leaving Swiss CTR in approximately 1 minute.
9 Bravo Mike, your frequency change approved, bye-bye.
Frequency change approved, switching to Unicom. Thanks for the control and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Okay, but now clean up the discontinuities. Okay, that should be good. Let's see. Thanks. Okay, that's good. Now this can go back to current position. We don't need menu anymore, we can zoom back out.
Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa direct Ligur, Lima India Golf Uniform Romeo.
Direct Ligur, Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa. Nice.
So 1503, contact Langen 119.1, bye-bye.
Please repeat the frequency for Lufthansa 1503.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it was my mistake, was the wrong one. Contact Langen 123.280.
Okay, 123280 for Lufthansa 1503. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Same to you, bye.
Good afternoon, Europa 1705.
Opa 1705, Swiss radar, good evening, identified, climb flight level 240.
Climb flight level 240, okay, Europa 1705.
We'll bump you over the Alps. Ooh. Jesus.
Control, good evening, to Control 047 flight level 350.
474-204, Swiss radar, good day, identified.
Okay, I expect to be handed over to Milano radar very quickly.
Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, contact Milano 135.455, bye-bye.
135.455. Thanks, Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa. Bye bye. Okay, Milano radar. Milano radar, Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa. Good afternoon. We are at flight level 350 inbound Ligur.
Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, you're still on Swiss radar. I think there's a problem with the voice server tonight, so try switching to Unicom and then to Milano.
Roger, Oscar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa. Well, can't really establish. Is it a alternate? 4, 3, 5, 4, 5. Interesting. If I do 1, 3, 5, decimal 4, 5, 5. 1, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5. Okay, it should be correct.
Breeze 2713, runway 35 left, Golf Whiskey, Zaya Yankee, Golf Yankee.
Runway 35 left, Golf Whiskey, Zaya Yankee, Golf Yankee, 2713.
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, radar contact, climb level 190.
Climbing flight level 190, Condor 5, Tango Oscar.
Milano radar, Oscar, Oscar, Papa, Sierra Papa, good afternoon, we are flight level 350 inbound Ligure.
Buongiorno, Oscar, Oscar, Papa, Sierra Papa, radar contact, at Ligure, report ready for descent.
Well, report ready for descent, Oscar, Oscar, Papa, Sierra Papa.
Alitalia 8911, descent level 120.
Scendere a livello di volo 120. Alitalia 8911.
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, turn left, direct VAM 2.
Direct VAM 2 for Condor 5, Tango Oscar, thank you.
November Delta Golf, buongiorno, avanti.
Delta Golf, Master
Roger, standby 1.
Lufthansa 2 establish RMP runway 10 at Genoa.
Lufthansa 28 kilo, wind 120 degrees 13 knots, runway 10 clear to land.
Yes, runway 10 to 0.
November Delta Golf, runway 09 renews, wind 080 knots, runway 09, QNH 1012, clear to destination, Genova 6 Tango departure, climb level 100, squawk 4210.
Outer number 09 1012, QNH initially 106 Tango and 4210.
Mustang Delta Golf correct, QNH 1013, now report holding point, runway 09.
1013 vehicle. Leader, buonasera, Napoli Vola 427 with you, inbound VAM to crossing level 350, climbing 370.
Napoli Volo 427, hello, radar contact, direct VAM 2.
Keep continuing up to Napoli 427.
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, continue climb level 350.
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, confirm 350 or 330?
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, climb level 350.
Roger, then climbing level 350. Milano Radar, SAS 004, lasciando i re, entriamo nella valle verso Osta, cercheremo di mantenere i 3000 piedi.
Ricevuto, Aerofax 004, operazioni e quota a sua discrezione, richiami in vista del campo di Aosta.
Richiamerà in vista del campo 004.
QNH ultimo è 1010.
Grazie per la SAS 004.
Let's just refresh the weather request and see how the weather is going to be.
32713, 1606 knots, runway 35 left at Golf, whiskey clear for takeoff.
So wind is 1406 knots, 19 degrees, and QNH 1013, that's a very nice QNH. Okay. Now already do the approach performance.
Easy 138 Golf, direct Delta Juliet Lima.
Direct Delta Juliet Lima 138 Golf.
Ryanair 315, monitor Unicron, goodbye.
Unicron 128, ciao, grazie mille.
Italia 911, descend level 100.
Livello di volo 100, Italia 911.
Easy 138 Golf, contact reef 124225.
124-225, thank you for contact.
Okay, we are like 40 miles from the top of the sun, so there's still quite some time and we have prepared already everything. So we'll do an RMP approach because there is no ILS for runway 16 in Corsica, which is a GPS-based approach, but it works basically the same with this airplane as an ILS would work, just the navigation source is different. You will still have to engage the approach mode before the initial fix, and then it will take us down in a vertical path. One thing is still the bottom minimums that we need to check, and the minimums are, if I can go down, 500 feet for category B, and that's we are. So, the refs, Barrow 500.
Lufthansa 28 Kilo landed, liner vacate left and taxi to the stand of your choice, monitor Unicom, bye.
Choices, vacate left, stand of choice, Unicom 128. Buona serata, grazie, alla prossima clientina.
Alla prossima. Swift 713 radar contact, climb level 200.
Climb level 00, 713.
Left the Alps behind, the air became much smoother. The Mediterranean is already there. Only coming up to the top of the descent when it's like 10 miles and I will take
Radar, dobry wieczór.
That's not Italian.
Hello, delivery, this is Vueling 365 for ready check.
Vueling 365, loud and clear, go ahead.
5 pounds and to Palma, we are ready for copy.
SSR.
All'Italia 891.
Milano Radar, buonasera, da Aerofax 064 per una prova rapida.
Ha chiuso Milano Radar.
Confermi che ha chiuso Milano Radar?
Non lo so, forse no, è ritornato.
Ok, grazie.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa requesting descent.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, descend level 150.
Level 150, Oscar Papa Sierra Papa.
Swiss 2713, turn left, I say again, left, direct Aosta.
Turning left, direct south, 713.
Alitalia 89R11, descend 4000, QNH 1012, via Inler, clear by LS 35 left, report established.
Alright, descent started.
Alitalia 8911, speed please.
Alitalia 8911, scendete a 4000, 1012, autorizzato l'ILS 35, sinistra, richiamate stabile.
Big pull back the throttle to not speed too much.
Scendere a 4000 piedi, autorizzato ILS Zulu 35 sinistra, riporteremo stabile, Alitalia 8911.
Swiss 2713, se volete potete salire fino a 280.
Sì, a questo punto salgo 280.
Perfetto, a sinistra per canne.
Sinistra diretto canne.
And I can already see Corsica on the horizon. We'll still be handed over to Marseille, but it's still a while. I think it's in the Ligure, so probably Ligure is the waypoint on the border of the two controls. Alright, so that's gonna be the last handover. Then we will have ATC all the way.
Over at the Gulf approach is 40.296. Mustang Delta Golf 0908 north, runway 0, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff 09.
We'll probably not need anti-ice because everything is quite clear. Is there any other traffic to Bastia? Beretta, no, we are the only inbounds and we are expected to be landing in, going to tell, in 17 minutes, probably a tiny bit more, like within 20 minutes. We'll be landing in 20 minutes. And now above the ocean there is really very smooth air. The wind. Oh, there is a lot of crosswind from the right, that's why we are looking so much to the right. 100 knots exactly from the right. might make some turbulence because we are on the downwind side of Corsica for the landing. Curious about that. Mark is saying that I should increase my own volume due to the aircraft noise. I can do that. I can just lower the aircraft noise. I hope now it's better, but you can tell me if it should be more or less. Sorry if I only noticed it now and you've already written it earlier. So just tell me if I should still lower it, the aircraft noise, and then I can do that. So our arrival chart I will put back.
Mustang Delta Golf, radar contact, climb level 300. Mustang Delta Golf, passing level 90, fly direct Cannes.
Alright, happy to hear that it's better now. And then when we are handed over to Marseille, hopefully there won't be an issue with the voice server. And then we'll just report that when we are on the descent towards Bastia. Lima Foxtrot Kilo Bravo, expecting the AirNav approach runway 16 and the Ligur 1 Victor arrival. Although they would probably give us an arrival, I feel like it's a bit late because they basically hand us over to Marseille like 10 miles before the start of the arrival procedure, so. But I think that's the only arrival from the north, though, so there can't be anything else.
Condor 5 Tango Oscar, contact Marseille 126155.
Contact Marseille 126155. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Inaugurada, Halifax 004, campo di orta in vista, credo che la pista preferenziale sia la 09 se non sbaglio.
Sì, 100 gradi 15 nodi, l'atterraggio a sua discrezione, Aerofax 004 mi riporti completato.
Atterraggio discrezione riporterà completato, Aerofax 004.
L'Italia 8911 è stabile?
Affermativo, l'Italia 8911.
8911 ricevuto, autorizzato all'atterraggio 35 sinistra, 160 gradi 6 nodi.
Autorizzato l'atterraggio, pista 35 sinistra, l'Italia 891, vento via.
Napoli vola 4227 con Marsiglia 126 155, ciao. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, contact Marseille 126155, goodbye.
Marseille 126.155 for Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, thanks and have a nice evening, bye bye.
Swiss 2713, contact Zurich 128050.
And then let's try this again. 126155, 126555.
I confirm, heading 180. 8180, village 629.
Marseille radar Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, we are inbound Ligur, descending flight level 150, crossing flight level 180.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, hello, Ligur 1 Victor for RNP approach, runway 16, descent level 70.
Descent level 70, the Ligur 1 Victor arrival for the AirNav runway 16 approach, Oscar Papa Sierra Papa.
Air Hispania 801 Delta, what is your MAC number?
MAC number .78.
Alright, so everything as expected, it's very good.
Hispania 801 Delta, roger, for spacing, reduce MAC decimal 76.
Decimal 76, Hispania 01 Delta.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Marseille Control has a 10 340 level.
I5152, hello, identified.
So just a quick look here, basically there is a limit to set.
Turkish 6105, proceed direct Mike Uniform Sierra.
So what we said is a flight level
Direct
70.
Mike Uniform Sierra, Turkey 6105.
And if we didn't say anything, then the autopilot would take us down until 5000, because that's the next limit. So that's why there is two different colors here. But as long as we don't set something lower than 5000, so at the end we will set 2500 because that's the beginning of the approach, then we would be stopped at 7000 feet. And our speed is good, we'll hold it around 250, and then by here we have to slow down by 220 to Aliso.
Napoli Vola 4227. Privilege 6229, turn right, heading 260.
Heading 260, privilege 629,
Master Control, good evening. Napoli Vola 427, inbound column, level 370.
Napoli Vola 4227, hello, identified. Proceed direct to Patco, Papa, Alpha, Delta, Kilo, Oscar.
Secure Patco, thank you, Napoli 427.
So we had to be down below flight level 140
Master
by
Control,
turn 2.
good evening. Flight team 141, flight level 320, inbound deeper.
But now there is a
Turkish 6105, descent level 150.
but now there is a lot of time till we have to descend
Turkey 6105.
to 5000 feet, so now the path is much shallower.
141, hello, arrival Ablac 7 Romeo for ILS approach, runway 04 left.
You can actually see here now the path is only 1.6 degree, and then at the end we'll switch back to 3 degree.
Abla 7 Romeo, ILS 04 left, flight team 141.
So you'll have to slow down by 220 knots by Aliso. So somewhere halfway we'll slowly pull back the throttle a bit to slow down, but we don't have to do anything yet. The next action item is at 10,000 feet. The flight level 100, flight level 100, the landing lights. Everything else is already nicely set.
Stay radar, confirm heading 260 for privilege 629, error.
6229 is firm, expect heading 260 for 2 minutes, and then I give you back direct Vatia.
Copy that, waiting for your party reception, privilege 629, error.
Catadonia 3202, frequency change approved, goodbye.
Frequency change approved, Catalonia 3202, goodbye.
Definitely much better
Flight
weather.
team 141, proceed direct Mike Uniform Sierra.
Direct Mike Uniform Sierra, flight team 141.
I fly 152, proceed direct north.
Direct north, Hasai 12. Thank you.
Privilège 6229, direct Vatir. Privilège 6229, direct Vatir.
We can slowly start slowing down to the 220 knots.
Victor Alpha Tango India Romeo.
Direct Vatir, Privilege 629er.
Air France 5635, bonjour, altitude actuelle 5000 pieds.
Air France 5635, bonjour, montée niveau unité 80.
At one point I should be
Marseille Contrôle, bonjour Air France 37, Hôtel Alpha, on passe au niveau 280 dans le niveau 200 sur la star Nizar 7.
Air France Hôtel Alpha, bonsoir, direct Mike Uniforme Sierra, prévoyez approcher à l'est, piste 04 gauche, descendez niveau 140.
okay at flight of 100,
Direct
landing lights can go on.
Uniforme Sierra, on prévoit aller à la 04 gauche et on descend niveau 140, Air France 37 Hôtel Alpha.
And we are coming down to
Air Hispania 801 Delta, turn right, heading 250.
Right heading 250, Hispania 01 Delta.
Eurowings 597, contact Barcelona 135, decimal 355.
Contact Barcelona on 135, decimal 355, Eurowings 597, thank you, good day.
I will still have to be clear.
Marseille Control, good evening, stage 4, Hotel Golf at flight level 350, inbound ball, see you with you.
Turkish 4 Hotel Golf, hello, identified, proceed direct Vatir, Victor Alpha Tango India Romeo.
Direct Victor, India Tango Alpha Romeo, stage 4, Hotel Golf.
Flight team 141, ready to descend.
Flight team 141, descent level 280. Correction, descent now level 220.
Descend 220, flight team 141.
Alright, we're at a good speed of 216, below the 220. That's perfect. And we are waiting for a clearance to lower altitude, which will hopefully come soon.
Marseille Contrôle, bonsoir, Europe 1705 avec vous, niveau 350, 16 nautique de Côte d'Ivoire.
Airport 1705, bonsoir, direct Vatir, Victor Alpha, Victor Alpha Tango India Romeo.
Direct Vatir, Victor Alpha, Tango India Romeo, Europe 1705.
Alright, where's my clearance?
Diplomacy control, Meja 024, now 12 miles down Luma, so flight level 280 with you.
Special coding, call sign only.
Meja 024.
Internet 034, hello, direct North, correction, direct Irmar, India Romeo, Mike Alpha Romeo.
Direct, confirm direct please.
Irmar.
Copy, direct India Romeo, Mike Alpha Romeo, Meja 024.
Air Hispania 801 Delta, direct Vatir.
Direct Vatir, Hispania 01 Delta.
Worst case scenario, we hold at Capco.
Marseille Control, bonsoir, service 136, inbound Loomis.
Air service 121, hello, direct Nosta, November, Oscar, Sierra Tango Alpha.
Direct the Nosta, Aero Service 121.
Air France 5635, direct Lonsu, arrivée Lonsu 7 Roméo pour l'ILS 04 gauche, montée niveau unité 80. Air France 5635, arrivée Lonsu 7 Roméo, altitude 180. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1013, cleared RNP approach, runway 16.
Descent to 5,000 feet, QNH 1013, cleared RMP approach, runway 16. Oscar Papa Sierra Papa.
Turkish 6105, requesting further descent, please.
Turkish 6105, maintain level 150, traffic 1000 feet below on your 1 o'clock, 7 miles, left from right.
Okay.
Maintaining flight level 150, Turkish 6105.
Air España A01 Delta, contact Barcelona 135355, bye bye.
135, 355, merci beaucoup, au revoir, España 01 Delta.
Vueling 25 Echo Alpha, contact Barcelona 135355, bye bye.
Since we are cleared for the approach, we can already go down to the 25002.
Barcelona 135355, merci beaucoup, au revoir, calling 355 Alpha.
Turkish 6105, descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1013.
Descending 5,000 feet, QNH 1013, Turkish 6105.
Okay, and now
Flight team 141,
we want to
descent
slow
level
down a bit.
150.
Descend 150, flight team 141.
So we want to be basically maybe on the top of, like here at the Oxford Kilo Bravo 16, around 160 knots.
Mercy Control, good day, quality 6 Charlie Delta on ground at Agach, request push and start.
Quality 6 Charlie Delta, push and start approved.
Push and start approved, quality 6 Charlie Delta.
The view is nice, right? I mean, Corsica is always a nice island, but this reflection on the sea. Nice.
Air France Hôtel Alpha, maintenez le niveau 140 et vitesse 320 nœuds.
On maintient le niveau 140 et vitesse 320 nœuds, Air France Hôtel Alpha.
Flight team 141, radio speed 250 knots.
250 knots, flight team 141.
Maxi Control, can we switch to Barcelona radar, privilege 629er, just receive a call.
FM 135355, correction 135355.
Alright, flaps 15.
Bye bye.
And that will slow us down perfectly fine by the initial fix. Maybe we can do a landing briefing if it will happen.
Turkish 6105, turn right heading 070, vectors for ILS 04 left.
Seems like if I've played it once already during the flight,
Right
it doesn't
heading
work again.
070, vectors for ILS 04 left, Turkish 6105.
We are at idle and slowly, nicely slowing down.
Iberia 8349er, contact Barcelona 135355, bye bye.
135355, Iberia 8349er, good evening.
The barrow minimums are at 500 feet. Just want to...
Air France Hôtel Alpha, guidage pour l'ILS 04 gauche, tournez à gauche au cap 120.
Your speed is already good.
Guidage radar pour les LS 0 cal gauche et à gauche 420 Air France 37 Hotel.
I will already arm the approach.
Air France Hotel Alpha, descendez niveau 10, regarde. Air France Hotel Alpha, descendez niveau 110.
On descend niveau 110 Air France Hotel Alpha.
Flight Team 141, descent level 80.
Descend 80, flight team 141.
And we'll have to report final.
Traffic control, quality 6 Charlie Delta, we are ready to taxi.
Quality 6 Charlie Delta, taxi to holding point runway 20.
Taxi to holding point runway 20, quality 6 Charlie Delta.
Oscar, Oscar, Sierra Papa, Papa, Sierra Papa, runway 16, clear to land. Wind 120 degrees 6 knots.
Runway 16 clear to land. Oscar, Oscar, Papa, Sierra Papa. Okay.
Marshal Control, good afternoon, good morning. 83 Alpha Lima, flight level 360.
Calling Alpha Lima, hello, identified, proceed direct Irma.
And soon we have captured the glide
Direct
path.
Irma, 83 Alpha Lima.
And let's keep the speed at 140. Gears can go down. And that will create a lot of drag, so speed up a bit.
Marseille Contrôle Direction 005, bonjour, on passe 4000 pieds en montée, derrière Sud.
Accès 005, bonsoir, direct Rubas, niveau 270.
And that's where we'll start going
Direct
down.
Rubas, niveau 270, Accès
Nice.
005.
Everything
Flight
looks
Team
good.
141, speed 220.
I slowed down a bit too much, but
220 speed, flight team
alright.
141.
Air France Hotel Alpha, vitesse 250 nœuds, descendez 5000 pieds, QNH 1013.
Vitesse 250 nœuds, on descend 5000 pieds, QNH 1013 Air France Hotel Alpha.
Marseille, contrôle sud, bonsoir.
Okay, the star is coming down.
Au niveau 360, transpondeur 2242. Et je vais direct Bavon à vous.
landing lights on, seatbelt
Air
signs
France
on.
528, bonjour, direct Montélimar, Mike Tango Lima.
Ouais, direct Montélimar 528.
Marseille Control, quality 6 Charlie Delta, approaching holding point to Delta runway 20.
Quality 6 Charlie Delta, line up runway 20, cleared for takeoff, wind 220 degrees 6 knots.
Runway inside.
Then up and take off, quality 6 Charlie Delta and copy the wind.
And let's do flaps full.
Marseille Control, hello, Eurowings 8, Charlie Alpha, flight level 350, inbound Balti.
Eurowings 8 Charlie Alpha, hello, identified, direct Vatir.
Slowly slow down to approach speed.
Marseille Control, Waller 39 Whiskey, flight level 340, inbound Luma.
Waller 39 Whiskey, hello, direct Nosta.
Direct Nosta, Waller 39 Whiskey.
Turkish 6105.
Alpha direct Balti.
Turkish 6105, turn left heading 060, descend 4000 feet, clear ILS 04 left.
Okay, we are at approach speed plus 10.
Left heading 060, descending 4000 feet and cleared
quite a lot
ILS
of wind.
04 left, okay, 6105.
Flight Team 141, radar vectors, maintain present heading.
Maintain the present heading, flight team 141.
Since there is no auto throttle like in the Airbus, it's always a bit of corrections. Can zoom in a bit more. That's the maximum zoom. We will at one point take over a bit, go more to the right and then turn left. Can do that at like 1000 feet and then from there ups. Careful with the speed. It's always some corrections, just keep it on a bit above the approach speed because there's something.
Marseille Control, good evening. Alpine 67 November Delta level 370. Inbound Balti.
Alpine 67 November Delta, hello, identified, direct Vatir.
Direct Vatir, Alpine 67 November Delta.
Napoli Vuela 4227 for spacing, turn right heading 270.
Right 270 for spacing, Napoli 427.
Okay, 6105, runway 04 left, fully established.
Air France Hotel Alpha, tournez à gauche, cap 070, descendez 4000 pieds.
Yo, number of line there
À
is
gauche
rough.
au cap 070,
Fully manual,
4000
that's
pieds, Air
fine.
France Hotel Alpha.
Align with the center line.
6105, contact tower 118.7, goodbye.
Contact tower on 118.7, thank you, bye-bye, Turkey 6105.
Flight team 141, turn right, heading 070, descent 5000 feet, QNH
Speed is
1013.
good. We are on the slope.
070, 5000 feet, QNH 1013, flight team 141.
500. Minimums.
Continue. Now, nice turn.
Air France Hotel Alpha, vitesse 200 nœuds.
200 nœuds, Air France Hotel Alpha.
Bit low. Speed is good.
Maxi control quality 6 Charlie Delta, airport at 3000 feet.
Quality 6 Charlie Delta identified, proceeding right, director 2, climb level 320.
Above the threshold. Not
Right,
close to idle.
director 2 and climb 320, quality 6 Charlie Delta.
Marseille Control Tower 125, our sim crashed, but we return. We are 56 miles out of Irvine 360.
Air France Hotel Alpha, à gauche 4030, autorise approcher l'est, piste 04 gauche.
And brake.
À gauche 030 et on doit autoriser l'est 04 gauche, Air France Hotel Alpha.
Tower 125, squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000, Tower 125.
And now we'll exit the runway to the right.
Air France Hotel Alpha, Air France Hotel Alpha rédigé vers 180 nœuds.
180 nœuds, Hotel Alpha.
And welcome
Flight team
to
141,
Bastia Poretta.
descent 4000 feet, cleared ILS 04 left.
And now we stop
4000
here.
feet, clear LS 04 left, flight team 141.
Rexer 005, montée niveau 350, direct Rixot, arrivée Rixot, unité Papa.
Rixot, unité Papa, arrivée, direct Rixot, on monte niveau 350.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, runway vacated.
Oscar Papa Sierra Papa, frequency change approved, goodbye.
Frequency change approved, thanks, bye bye, Oscar Papa Sierra Papa. Alright, we're going to Unicom.
Flight control for Condor 5 Tango Oscar.
And then that's our after landing checklist. After landing checklist. What we can already do is stop the recording for the replay. Okay. And then after landing, speed brakes back to 0, flaps up. Flaps up, pitot heat goes off, ice protection is already off, radar is already standby, and exterior lights, we can just do taxi lights, strobe lights go off, and let's taxi to the gate. We can just, taxi to the general aviation area this time. Have a quick look on the charts. Airport. And the general aviation area is the apron B, C and D, I think. But we can just quickly check that. Parking stands. Well, it doesn't really say which one is which one, but let's go to apron D and let's do a D10. The Delta 10. Okay. Taxi lights on. And we take then Delta after Mike. which is like an interesting direction. Okay, we didn't follow the lines so well. It was not very clear how it went. Yeah, the sceneries are in Flight Simulator are really nice. Mark, I agree. And then we take the first spot. Or not the first one, but the second one here. That was not very clear how that was, but let's see. We are fine. Parking brake is set. And now I will disconnect from the network and I show the replay of the landing before shutting down the whole sim. But we have arrived indeed to Bastia. And we did not park perfectly well here. But I think we have to park on the tilted line actually. I can still do that. No, we will not do that. It's fine like this. Charts are closed. And then let's disconnect from the network. And let's have a look at our replay. Hopefully it's gonna work. Replay. And that's normal. And now we can pause replay and go a bit closer. Like here, and resume replay. And we can put these on so it doesn't complain. Okay. While we are looking at the replay, thanks for watching for people who watched, and thanks for Mark and Hank also for flying along the first leg. It's a bit longer than I planned originally, the whole stream, but it was two nice flights. For the second flight we got a lot of ATC, that was really nice. It's always nice to have the controllers. Hank is asking how is the PPL training going. I decided that I would only restart the training when I got vaccinated to have less stress and everything, so now I'm waiting a bit. So I still haven't flown since last October, unfortunately, in real life. And let's see, our landing, a bit of a float, but then nice and smooth. More or less also on the center line. So yeah, for the PPL training I will hopefully restart end of July, August, because my vaccination should be around somewhere second week of June for the first one, and then of course the second one 4 or 5 weeks later, and then you still need to wait 10 days or 2 weeks till you are fully, let's say, fully vaccinated. So I will continue then. I should still study a bit of the theory in the meantime, so there is still stuff to do. But yeah, that's why there is no real flying videos lately. But it will come as things normalize. It will come. Okay, let's still have one more look at the replay from a wing view.
Minimums.
And let's find the good wing view, like this one. Still a bit of a shame that there is no default replay functionality yet in the Flight Simulator, and you have to use this external software. But it's not too bad to do it, so quite alright. Hopefully our VIP guests enjoyed the flight from Basel to Bastia Poretta on the island Corsica. I think it was a nice flight. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And hopefully soon we'll also be able to see real flying videos again. But indeed that depends on the vaccination. And now pause replay, and I have to go back. Yeah, but that's where I stopped recording. Anyway, then we do stop replay, and then we are again in control of the aircraft. I only should stop the replay recording when already at the gate, or not the gate but the spot. Okay, taxi lights, strobe lights off, and that's already standby, so everything was fine. But let's now do a proper taxi. And by the car coming this way, yeah, there are still some small issues in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, but we will just look to the right and let's say there was no car anywhere. And now we can properly stop on the middle line. Okay, brakes, and then a quick shutdown procedure. Parking brakes are set, seatbelt signs off, taxi lights off, emergency light switch off, standby flight display off, avionics off. These were not cleaned up. Climate control selector goes off, ice protection systems all off, pitot heats off, throttles are idle, exterior lights all off except for the beacon. Before we stop the engines, let's stop the engines. Both engines are spooling down, and then when they spool down, the beacon lights can go also off, the battery switch can also go off, and we are done. Everybody can exit the plane, and thanks for flying with us, and thanks for being here on the stream, flying together or just listening together, and see you the next time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye bye.